Welcome to our presentation on the Royal Mail strikes.
Here are the main actors and why they are involved in the conflict. CW and why it's involved. CW is the biggest union for communications industry in the UK with almost 200,000 members and represents members in postal, telecom, mobile, administrative and financial companies, also including the Royal Mail Group. The reason CW is in dispute with Royal Mail is because of the Royal Mail members have had an unagreed 2% deal imposed on them. Royal Mail staff are unhappy of this due to inflation running in at 11.8%. CW are claiming that their members need the pay rise and deserve it. They are also claiming that their company, Royal Mail, can afford it. Employees can also be seen as one of the main actors involved in the current strike situation, as they are the ones striking to receive higher pay as well as better working conditions. For example, Royal Mail delivery times increased due to the strikes and firing of workers, and customers' orders and deliveries on Black Friday and Christmas were extremely late due to the same reason. This leads to dissatisfied customers and late deliveries, and this leads to bad business PR. This also means that customers and suppliers will look for alternative options such as DPD and Every. Williams says the best course of action to overcome strike and disproportionate employee payment is to split from GLS. GLS is on track for £420 million of profit compared to Royal Mail's £0 of profit. Therefore, splitting off GLS can aid the crisis.
Dynamics of conflicts. 30th March 2022. Unite prepare an industrial action ballot which could see strikes happen the following month after Royal Mail planned to sack nearly 1,000 managers and introduce lower bands of pay in another case of fire and rehire, which the Royal Mail denied. The Unite General Secretary Sharon Graham said Royal Mail has no excuse for announcing these jobs cuts, especially at the same time as new bands of lower pay, that is just fire and rehire. We are not even losing money. Royal Mail private shareholders are doing very nicely out of the UK. Our members are determined to prevent this destruction and we have the full backing of their union every step of the way. A Royal Mail spokesperson replied to this saying they are disappointed with Unite preparing a ballot. The restructure has been going well in the last 2 months and they are now moving on to the next phase. They also say that they have been committed to conducting this process carefully and sensitively, working closely with their people and union, as well as saying the proposals will devolve more accountability and flexibility to frontline operational managers and deliver a number of benefits for managers and customers and will be a significant step forward in the reinvention of the Royal Mail. 5th July 2022. Royal Mail managers plan to strike between the 20th and 22nd of July due to the Royal Mail planning to axe 700 more jobs on top of the 1,200 jobs last year, in addition to slash pay of its remaining members by up to £7,000. 86% and 89% in Northern Ireland have voted to strike in the works rule strike from the 15th to 19th of July, where managers would adhere strictly to contract terms. This includes taking their breaks, finishing on time, not cover weekend volunteer operations, and not working extra unpaid hours. This will lead to key services such as next day delivery being delayed. 19th July 2022. Royal Mail staff voted in favour of strike following a dispute over pay and working conditions. This will be the biggest strike the company has faced since 2009, as over 115,000 postal workers, almost 90% of its members, had voted strike and had a turnout of 78%. The intention of a strike is to enter into negotiations to secure a straight, no strings attached pay increase for workers. Royal Mail previously offered a 2% increase in pay and argued any further increase in pay would be conditional on staff accepting changing working conditions. To help the company compete with lower cost rivals, which includes making Sunday shifts part of core hours and keeping operations running later at night. A separate strike by the Royal Mail managers led by the union Unite and initially planned for this week has been called off after Royal Mail made new proposals on jobs, pay and working conditions that will form the basis of further negotiations. Further strikes took place 31st August, 8th September, 9th September. 14th October, Royal Mail proposed 20% cuts in wages of new postal workers and recruit more temporary staff as they look to cut costs. 17th November, Royal Mail requests the government to not deliver letters and parcels on Saturdays in an attempt to reduce costs after reporting a £219 million loss as a result of strike action.
Actors with respective leverage. CEO. Keith Williams aims to cut 10,000 jobs by next August and has the power to do so as chairman. Williams is essentially the CW's opposition, and he argues that the business will decline before it can improve and states that job cuts were already on the rise as a result of the new super hub built in Daventry. His words were modernize or decline. The CWU went ahead with getting 115,000 postal workers to secretly vote to strike against the company. The CWU are pressing hard and being difficult despite the conditions, forcing Royal Mail to step back and award more pay bonuses as well as guarantee higher, reasonable full-time wages, despite the company struggling to recover from the pandemic. Despite this, the CW rejected a 5.5% pay award that would have costed up to £230 million for Royal Mail in people costs, demonstrating that the CEO's leverage over the situation is limited as the pressure from the union is still evident. Workers. The CW have instilled leverage in the workers who are further planning an additional 16 days of strikes up to and including Christmas, which is arguably the biggest and most busiest period that Royal Mail operates. This will arguably result in more losses for the business as a direct result of no operational activity, causing Royal Mail Group to lose revenue even further. The above shows that CW are currently holding the upper hand, as Royal Mail made an offer to try and bring back their staff. However, the CW are trying to bargain for more. This is coming as a huge disadvantage as this brings Royal Mail to a loss. Due to the strikes, Royal Mail admits that it has become increasingly reliant on its profitable overseas operations partner called GLS. Royal Mail have leverage over the workers, as although the strikes have caused disruption and loss of operational profits, Royal Mail have hired more than 6,000 temporary workers after the strikes on 26th of August, as well as proposals to cut salaries of new workers by around 20%. Customers. The customers have powerful leverage as they have had for the last 500 years. If they are collectively dissatisfied, the business will fail entirely due to a disloyal customer base, few satisfaction ratings, bad word of mouth, and this leads to them looking for alternatives in the parcel industry. This can lead to huge operation losses such as the £92 million loss as a result of the strikes. A loss of sales will result in less revenue, and less revenue means that Royal Mail do not break even. Royal Mail will decline and lose market share to its competitors.
Critically evaluate the interactions. Royal Mail. The short-term solution for Royal Mail is to hire temporary staff and cut the salaries of new recruits. However, this is only a short-term solution as it will only prolong the issue. Royal Mail talks about its new window into the future with machines that can sort up to 1 million parcels daily. Cutting staff members will allow for less operational costs in order to focus on the super hub in Daventry. Keith Williams, the CEO of Royal Mail, mentioned GLS, their parent company, which is on track for $420 million in profits. To overcome the losses from the strikes, Williams believes that the best course of action is to split from GLS, which will allow Royal Mail to stay afloat till their window into the future. CWU. CWU is fighting for Royal Mail staff and are arguing for fair pay, claiming that the members deserve that pay rise. Royal Mail are losing the frontier of control to CWU, who are pressuring them for better wage effort bargains. Royal Mail has made 2 offers, one being 5% and the most recent offer being 9%. CWU has rejected both offers as they said it's pathetic that Royal Mail, a company which announced its annual profits of $758 million mere weeks ago, is now pleading poverty and threatening fragmentation. CWU are imposing a unitary management viewpoint from Keith Williams, however Royal Mail remains a pluralist company. This means that employees will continue to experience disharmony in the workforce unless Keith Williams decides to make a change. Customers. In reference to where is the human in HRM, Royal Mail suffers from their employees going on strike, as it disrupts the service sector economy. This means that customers receive poor quality of service, leading to Royal Mail having further losses as customers could switch to more efficient, less problematic competitors. Furthermore, the general public gets inadvertently sucked into the dispute as Royal Mail has requested the government to permit them to no longer deliver parcels on Saturdays due to the losses from overstrikes. This further impacts customers as it entices them to abandon reliability in the service. Royal Mail need to weigh out their ethics involved in abandoning aspects of their business from staff to overseas partners. Equally, workers need to be more accepting of the offers that they received.